No, that isn't that good.
Don't do that, bro.
I'm eating food that's not good.
Fuck out of here.
There's a clip. It lasts about 12 seconds. A man is sitting alone at a table eating a meal by himself, not bothering anyone. And off to the side, a teenager with 2 million followers is pointing a camera at him and laughing. Not near him. Not at something else in the room. At him. A homeless man eating alone, and Rakai thinks it is the funniest thing he has seen all day. That clip spread everywhere. And when it did, when the reaction came in fast and brutal and completely justified, Rakai sat down on stream and told his audience that what they had seen with their own eyes was not what it looked like, that he was laughing at the sauce, at the food, at the way his friend was looking at him. He built a version of reality where he was the one being wronged. And here's what makes that moment so much more disturbing than it already looks on the surface. By the time that clip went viral, it was not even close to the worst thing Rakai had done. It was just the one that finally made people stop and pay attention, because there's a long trail behind that moment. Bans that quietly disappeared. Adults who tried to reach him and got laughed at. A professional interventionist who flew in specifically to sit this kid down and make him understand what he was throwing away, who looked him in the eyes and told him he'd been given something extraordinary. And Rakai looked right back and said he did not give a single thing about what that man was saying. That he built this, that it is a lifestyle. He is 17 years old, he has 2 million followers, and something has gone very, very wrong. To understand where Rakai is right now, you have to go back to where this all started. Because how you get something matters just as much as what you do with it once you have it. Before any of this, Rakai was just a kid from Syracuse, upstate New York, uploading content online with no real audience and no real direction. He was consistent, he had energy, but nothing was moving. And then in 2024, something happened that most creators spend their entire careers chasing without ever finding it. While Kai Cenat was live on stream, some of his chat members pointed out that there was another streamer online who looked and sounded almost exactly like Kai. That streamer was Rakai. Kai looked into it himself. They got on a Zoom call together, and that was the whole thing. That was the door open. Kai started bringing him onto streams, started doing subathons with him, started putting him in front of millions of people. And in a time frame that most creators cannot even comprehend, Rakai went from being completely unknown to over 2 million followers and averaging 17,000 live viewers per stream. All before the age of 18. Now, the most important thing to understand about that rise is what it did not teach him. Because Rakai did not grind for years to get there. He did not build a loyal audience clip by clip through consistency and patience. He did not develop a skill that separated him from everyone else. One Zoom call changed his entire life. One cosign from the biggest streamer in the world, and suddenly he had a platform that takes most people a decade to reach. And that kind of overnight arrival does not teach humility. It does not teach discipline or what it actually costs to build something real. What it teaches you is that things just happen, that fame just shows up. For a kid who was already showing signs of not caring much about consequences, that was probably the worst lesson he could have learned at that age. Clout is a deadly drug, and Rakai received the full dose before he had any idea what it was going to do to him. But here's the part that makes this whole story more complicated than just blaming the fame. Even before Kai, even in the very early clips before the platform and the followers and the spotlight, Rakai was already exactly the same person he is right now. He said it himself that he has been like this since he was 12 years old. So fame did not build this character. The character was already there. What fame did was handed a microphone and remove every ceiling that would have otherwise kept it in check. Because when you are a nobody from upstate New York behaving like Rakai, life corrects you naturally. School pushes back. Adults push back. Consequences land directly on you. But the moment you have 2 million followers and one of the biggest streamers in the world speaking up for you every time something goes wrong, those consequences start dissolving before they ever actually reach you. And that is exactly what has been happening since the day Rakai blew up. Every single time without exception. The first real sign came almost immediately. One of his earliest bans was for streaming while driving, not in a controlled situation. He was fully distracted, barely watching the road, trying to order food on his phone while the car was moving, and he thought it was funny. This is not a kid who sees danger and decides to be reckless anyway. This is a kid who does not even register that the danger exists. Then came the Walmart situation. He picked flowers off a shelf without paying, walked up to a random woman on camera, handed them to her, told her he had paid for them, and ran before anything could happen. The woman thanked him with genuine warmth, said, "God bless you," and meant every word of it. And Rakai laughed. The very next day, he sat down on a Fortnite wager against Clicks, who is a professional player. The terms were simple. Rakai started at 99 kills and only needed one more. Clicks started from 0 and had to reach 100. Rakai lost completely. Clicks killed him 100 times. And when it was time to honor what he owed, Rakai just chose not to. He sat there on stream, laughed in Clicks' face, and told him the money was staying in his account. No hesitation, no guilt, no acknowledgement that he had agreed to the terms of something and lost fair and square. He treated a grown man's winnings like they were a suggestion he had the option to decline. That combination, the flowers and the scam, happening essentially back to back, landed him a ban of 730 days on Twitch. 2 full years. And for a brief moment, it actually looked like that might be the moment where reality finally set in. 2 years away from the platform that built your entire audience is serious. That is real time. But then Twitch released a statement saying the 2-year ban was a visual bug, that it was actually only 31 days. Nobody on Earth believed that. Not one person watching this unfold believed that Twitch had accidentally given someone a 730-day ban by mistake, and nobody caught it for days. What everyone understood was that Rakai has people in his corner who run deeper than just clips and cosigns. And for a kid who was already struggling with accountability, watching his biggest consequence in history quietly disappear was not a lesson. Yeah, it was confirmation. It told him once again that the rules worked differently for him. And then came the homeless man clip, the one you already know about, the one that opened this whole story. He was out eating with DDG and Shay Frost. A homeless man was sitting nearby, alone, doing nothing to anyone. And Rakai started laughing at him, openly, on camera, with his entire audience watching every second of it. When the clip spread and the reaction came, he went on stream and said it was not what it looked like. Said he was laughing at the sauce, at the food, at the way Shay was looking at him. He sat there and built a version of events where he was the victim, where the problem was the people reacting, not what they had watched with their own eyes. Think about what that moment actually means if you take it seriously. Imagine you have not eaten in days. Imagine you finally sit down somewhere to have a meal in peace, and a teenager with 2 million followers is pointing a camera at you and laughing. And then when the world reacts with disgust, that teenager tells everyone their eyes are broken. That moment confirmed what a lot of people had been quietly thinking for a long time. This is not a kid being chaotic for content. This is someone who has had every real consequence buffered and absorbed for so long that he no longer knows how to recognize when he has genuinely done something wrong. And fame did not create that, but fame is absolutely making it worse. Because while all of those early bans were happening, Rakai was also inside actual structured environments with actual people trying to help him. And he was treating every single one of those situations the exact same way, with complete and total disregard. The clearest example of that happened during Streamer University. Streamer University was supposed to be a real opportunity, a program where younger creators could learn something, develop skills, build content in a structured setting. For Rakai specifically, showing up and taking it seriously would have been a genuinely good look. A kid who got a massive platform through one cosign, now putting in actual work to deserve it. Instead, he treated the entire thing like a playground. The chaos reached a genuinely dangerous level when he and others started firing Orbeez at people during what was supposed to be content. What began as something stupid and juvenile escalated to the point where a girl was injured in the eye. An actual injury. And Rakai's response was essentially nothing. No real remorse, no acknowledgement that a person got hurt because of something he was involved in. It passed like every other moment passes for him. And then there was Miss Amy, a teacher brought in as part of the program, described by everyone around her as patient and kind, someone who genuinely wanted to help. And from the very first interaction, Rakai treated her like she was the problem in the room. It started with something small. He showed up late to her class and denied it completely. He stood there and argued with a grown woman about what time he had walked through the door, telling her she was wrong, telling her he had been on time, refusing to back down from a lie about something that did not even matter. Miss Amy kept her composure. She moved past it. She tried to continue teaching. And then he started throwing food across the classroom. Him and Tota were throwing food at each other, disrupting everything, making it impossible for anyone to focus. And the more people asked him to calm down, the more he leaned into it. Laughing, mocking, performing for whoever was watching, treating a woman who had done nothing but show up to help him like she was there purely for his entertainment. It got to the point where Miss Amy finally said she had reached her limit, told him it was either he left or she left. And instead of recognizing that he had pushed a genuinely patient person to her absolute limit, Rakai walked out, just stood up and left. And at some point during all of it, he cursed at her. A teacher, a woman who had done nothing to him. What made the Miss Amy situation so difficult to watch was not even the behavior itself. It was what it revealed. Rakai does not believe certain people deserve his respect. Not teachers, not women in positions of authority, not anyone who has not first proven to him that they are worth his attention. And that is a character issue. That is not something you fix by growing a year older. But even the Miss Amy situation was not the most telling moment of what fame had been doing to him. For that, you have to look at what happened when Kai actually tried to intervene in a direct and serious way. During Mafia-thon, Kai reached a level of frustration where he hired a teacher specifically to help Rakai with his schoolwork, paying for it out of his own pocket, and Rakai was skipping those sessions entirely. Whether that was staged or not, almost does not matter. Because even as a performance, it showed exactly what his instincts are when he feels disrespected. His first move is always escalation, always the most extreme version of whatever response he can manufacture. And he does it on camera because the camera is the point, the audience is the point, the reaction is always the point. Then there was El Rubius, when Mr. Beast brought together the top 50 streamers for a challenge worth $1 million. Rakai was included on that list, which itself reflects how far Kai's platform had taken him. During the event, when El Rubius was eliminated and trying to say goodbye to his community, Rakai kept dancing next to him while he was speaking, making the moment about himself, and reportedly told him to go back to Mexico. El Rubius is from Spain. When Kai finally hit his limit, he sent Rakai home, told him he was done, that he had been doing too much, and that he no longer lived there. That moment should have landed, because without Kai, there is no platform. Without Kai, there is no audience. Without Kai, Rakai is back in Syracuse with nothing but a small channel and a personality that was already getting him into trouble before anyone was watching. And then came the intervention, a professional interventionist, someone who works with young people all over the country, who has seen this kind of situation many times, who came in because Kai was genuinely tired of watching someone he cared about throw everything away. This man sat across from Rakai and told him directly that he had been given something extraordinary, that at 16 years old, he had a platform most people never see in their entire lives. He told Rakai to look him in the eyes, and Rakai did. And then Rakai said, word for word, that he did not give a single thing about what this man was saying, that he built this, that he does not care, that it is a lifestyle. That response has to be understood for what it actually is. Because Rakai did not build this, not in the way that phrase is supposed to mean. He was discovered on a stream, pulled into a circle that already had momentum, and handed an audience that someone else built over years of real work. Sitting across from a man brought in because the people who love you are genuinely worried, looking him dead in the eye, and saying, I built this, I don't care, is not confidence. That is delusion. The specific kind that only grows in someone shielded from consequences for so long, they have lost track of where they actually stand. And the behavior kept spreading into every corner of his life. On stream, he brought up Overtime Megan's leaked private content as a joke. 16 years old, referencing a woman's intimate leaked material in front of a massive audience, treating it like the funniest thing he had come up with all day. Then there was the Duke Dennis situation. Duke jokingly took Rakai's chain, and Rakai threatened to sell Duke's $80,000 Nike shoes for $200, and then burned them on stream. Then his mother sent a babysitter to his live stream. Not as a bit, not as content. A grown man physically showed up, sent by his mother because she needed someone in that room to manage him in real time. Rakai called his mom on the phone to confirm it, and she told him yes, she had sent him. That moment is funny on the surface, but underneath it is genuinely sad. The adults who loved this kid had run out of ways to reach him through conversation or reason, and then the graduation. He had one exam left. A social studies regent he had already failed multiple times before. And somehow, with about 10 days of preparation, he passed and officially graduated. People were confused because there were months of clips showing Rakai struggling with basic knowledge, struggling to name 5 African countries, struggling to find the word ethnicity. The result did not match what had been visible for a very long time, and the internet noticed. But even setting aside the question of how he passed, before he had cleared anything with the school, Rakai publicly announced that Kai and the entire AMP crew were coming to his graduation. He turned it into a content event before anyone had agreed to a single thing. The school made the call that he could have the diploma, but not the ceremony. He was considered too much of a disturbance. His diploma was mailed to his house, and his response was to go live and put his teacher's face on stream, not to sit with the fact that this outcome was something he had at least partially created himself, not to acknowledge that other students and their families deserved a ceremony that was about all of them. He showed his teacher's face to millions of followers, and then told his chat not to do anything to her, which is exactly the kind of statement that sounds like a disclaimer, but functions as the opposite. Here's the honest truth about what is happening to Rakai. Fame did not make him this way. The chaos and the disregard and the inability to sit with a consequence were already there before Kai ever knew his name. But what fame has done is take all of that and make it permanent. Because when you are a normal kid behaving like this, reality corrects you eventually. Something lands hard enough to make you reassess. But when you are Rakai, every ban gets quietly reduced. Every intervention gets laughed off. Every adult who tries to reach you gets met with, "I built this, I don't care." And 2 million people keep showing up regardless, telling you every single day that the behavior is working, that there is no cost, that the ceiling does not apply to you. He has never been truly punished. And it shows in everything he does. Kai said it himself. He believes Rakai will be the biggest streamer in the world one day, and maybe in a different version of this story, with people around him who actually made the consequences land, with an environment that taught him the platform was something to protect rather than something to spend. Maybe that version of Rakai becomes exactly what Kai believes he can be. But that is not the story that has been playing out. The story that has been playing out is a kid who got everything before he was ready for it, who has been shielded from every real consequence since the moment it arrived, and who is now months away from turning 18, at which point the world stops adjusting for him. Fame is not consuming Rakai all at once. It is doing it slowly, quietly, one buffered consequence at a time. And by the time he notices what has happened, the window to fix it might already be closed. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe.